Hi everybody, John Cena here and welcome to FunkQuest Season 2, Episode 13. And we have one returning Funkster and one new Funkster to the cave this afternoon. So we'll start ladies and newcomers first. And tell me who you are, where you're from and what you do.
I'm Ann Smith. I am a professional actress and my avocation is metal detecting. And I make unique art pieces with the items I dig up from the ground.
Funky.
It is funky.
Yeah, nice. Paul, you've been on before. Tell me who you are, what you do, and where you're from.
Yeah, so I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina, kind of the east coast of the U.S., here with my wife, Angela. We got a 4-year-old daughter, Emmy. And what I do when I'm not hanging out with them is I help small business owners automate and scale their business.
Fantastic. Right, so a bit of housekeeping before we get started. If you think you are funky enough, send me a tweet at JohnCine1. Depending when you listen to this, we may or may not be recruiting for Season 3. If this is the first time you've listened to the show, well, you'll kind of figure it out because it's quite easy to pick up. Get ready to vote, though, because at the end, in about 12 or 15 minutes' time, one of these Funksters will be asking, well, they'll both be asking for your votes, but you need to have some way to vote for them, and that is usually in the form of a piece of paper and a pencil to write down something which I'm going to say to you. So get ready to vote. And if you think that you have a better answer than these guys, and bear in mind, this is harder than it looks, join in with hashtag FunkQuest. And with that said, let's get on with the show. And I normally say it is an advantage to go second. So I'm going to ask Paul if he'll go first. We've got a newcomer and a lady, so I'm going to ask Paul if he'll go first.
I would love to go first, Jonathan.
I'm glad you said that. So you got to pick an icon from question 1.
I'm going to do the Game Boy.
Game Boy. Best book you ever read?
It was the first business book I ever read, Built to Sell.
Build to Sell. Who wrote that?
I believe it was John Warlow.
Build to Sell. Give us
Built to Sell. Yeah, so I hated reading my entire life. I never read. I literally didn't skip a class at university and college because I didn't want to read the books. And then when I started my own business, I realized I needed to learn a lot more than I thought. So that was the first book I read, and it's about building your business so it can run without you.
So it can run without you. Just brilliantly, they can then sell it at the end.
Exactly. And if you don't want to sell it, you at least have the option to do other things. You just have a lot more flexibility. You could hire someone else to run it. You could actually go on vacation and enjoy vacation and have something else continue to bring in revenue. So it's not always tied to you creating that income 24/7. So I'd say it's the best book just because it was the first book that I really ever dove into and actually enjoyed. And that was probably almost 30 years old by then.
What's it called? Build to Sell?
It was John Warlow.
Oh, I should look out for that. Thank you. Next question. And you get the same question, which is what's the best book you ever read?
Ooh, that's a tricky one because I've read so many books. My mother used to give me a book to sit with when I was potty training. So that was my first exposure to books. Yes, I recall sitting on the potty with a book. And Winnie the Pooh comes to mind. That's probably the first book with words I ever read rather than a picture book. In my adulthood, I think the best book I've read recently is called Lamb, The Gospel According to Biff, Christ's Boyhood Friend. By Christopher Moore, I think.
Yeah.
It is ridiculously irreverent. It is hilarious. It is cheeky. It is everything I absolutely love in a read. And I read aloud to my husband every night in bed before sleep.
So,
and yes, I do. It's wonderful practice for an actor. And he was actually staying awake because he was laughing so hard. So it didn't really work to soothe him to sleep, but it was a fabulous read, and I recommend it to anybody who has a sense of humor about religion.
Yeah, you better send us that details of that. So
I absolutely will.
Yeah, please do. Yeah. Next question, and it is Anne to go first. Question 2.
I have to go with the White Sox.
The gents with the sock.
Yes, sir.
How often do you help others?
My puritanical North American upbringing would probably tell me not often enough. But in reality, I think I help others quite often. It's been difficult these days because you can't get out and smile at people and hug people. I do that a lot. when the world is normal. But yesterday I was out at the store to pick up a few necessities, and I made a point of thanking everyone who did anything for me. The woman who was sanitizing the shopping cart, and the checkout person, I asked after her health, how are you hanging on? And they beam at me. It was such a small thing, but I do believe it helped.
I think it's made us kind of appreciate all this, what the fundamentals in life are.
I totally agree. I think that it's brought us back down to first principles. What do we need? We need food, we need shelter, we need clothing, we need human contact.
Somebody else to talk to. Yeah.
Yeah. Do we ever need human contact? And touch. I'm grateful that I'm being quarantined with my husband as opposed to on my own.
Next question. Paul, was it socks? Yes. How often do you help others?
Yeah, I would say every day, because that's what I do every day for to make money. So I help business owners every day navigate life, navigate business ownership. So that's really what I enjoy doing. And
how has that changed in the last month or 6 weeks?
Yeah, so it's a good question, because all my clients are small business owners. So at first, once they put in all the government shutdowns, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose all my clients because they can't make money. But I've actually grown my business significantly, because I think now more than ever, people realize that you don't have to try and figure this thing out on your own. You do need community. You do need help. You probably need a mentor more than ever. So it's changed for the better. I've really spent more and more time focused on just helping them and letting them know that, hey, this too shall pass and you're going to be better for it coming out on the other end of it. Because when the economy is going good for so long, we forget about a lot of things. We take a lot of things for granted.
Yeah, that's true. I was just going to say that people always try to do it by themselves. Always.
They do. And that's why, I think that's why entrepreneurs get to where they are to begin with, because they're problem solvers. They can figure it out. They know they can, but we all reach a point where we need help. Even the best athletes, they have coaches working with them 24/7.
Question 3, Paul, to go first.
We're going to go with the Great Wall.
Wall of China. What would you take to a desert island?
Oh, that's a good question. Going back to Ann's things of, hey, we just need basic necessities. I would bring water first. I would bring water.
Yes.
And because I need to survive, and then we can go a lot longer without food than water. So if I was to bring one thing, I'd bring water. And go from there and see what we can figure out. And maybe I'd bring some like old videos of Survivor, the show, to figure out how they do it.
That's a TV show. You can't listen to that. TV show. They edit that, don't they?
I think so. I'm guessing they do.
They get dumped off in with a helicopter, like yours.
Yeah, and I would say Man vs. Wild, but then he came out as kind of at least his first go run of Bear Grylls was. He was just kind of getting dumped off too. He wasn't surviving like he said he was.
I don't know who that guy is, but I'm sure we have the same in our culture, that they're kind of marooned in an island about 200 yards off the coast or something like that.
Yeah, and then he stays at the hotel.
And he goes, they all go stay at the hotel.
So I'd bring water.
Water, good answer. What was it? Wall of China. Anne, any advance on that? What would you take?
Oh, that's so sensible. I'm so not sensible. I was thinking I would take my dog.
Or a metal detector. I saw you
Or a metal detector, yeah. I probably, no, it needs batteries. So no, I mean, really, I have to say, I would probably take a blade of some kind, a knife or an axe or something. Do you know what I really should take though is my husband, because he is very handy. He can hunt, he can fish, he just finished making maple syrup. He knows how to fix things. He's much taller than I am, so he could reach the coconuts. Besides, he makes me laugh. So I think that I would take my hubs. Yeah.
That's a good answer, because fellow Canadian Alison Donegan said, I just take a man.
Yeah, I heard that episode.
Yeah, so you just take a man to do everything, and
But the fact that he's my husband means I don't have to really impress him any longer.
Well, you'll be laid in the hammock, like.
Yeah, so I don't need to bother about shampoo and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, desert island, right? Question 4, Anne, to go first.
I think I will take the keyboard since I'm sitting in front of one right
The
now.
Sinclair ZX81. I think that's the first time this has cropped up, and I'm not sure what this question is.
Go me.
What popular kids thing annoys you?
Pokemon Go.
Is that still a thing?
Oh, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I actually, I was in a public place back when we were allowed to. And there were these clots of youths, youths and kids, just like this. Here, let me do it properly.
Yeah.
And it frustrated me so because it was a beautiful day and, the sun was glinting off melting icicles and there was all this immense visual delight going on. And they were like, oh, there's one of those, whatever you call them, and they've got their noses on their screens. And I'm thinking, you're missing a lot. I have to say, I'm thrilled with technology, but there's a big tactile universe out there that I think the young are missing.
We've got the stage now where kids are saying, Alexa, tell me 43 plus 7.
Oh, that's creepy.
Because they just can't be bothered or don't know. Whatever.
I think our generation are going to be the ones that rule the world because we can calculate in our heads.
Yes, probably right. Yeah. Paul, you got the same question, which is what popular kids thing annoys you? And with a 4-year-old, you'll should have loads of these.
We got a lot of them. I would say anything. They seem to make the most catchy songs that stay in adults' heads longer than kids. So on that note, it'd probably be Baby Shark and anything else that Pink Fong puts out. Now they have one that's for Wash Your Hands. So Pink Fong is the producer of Baby Shark, and everything else that gets stuck in your head. You wake up singing it. You sing it all day, no matter what it is. So that would be that's the thing that annoys me the most at this moment.
Annoying songs for kids.
Annoying songs, yeah. They're so good at making them very catchy. Yeah. So they probably have some really smart marketers and psychologists and everybody else writing these things because it definitely works.
We used to have a TV show called Spitting Image, which you may or may not have seen or had in the 80s and 90s. And at that time, we used to have a lot of kind of these novelty records. And the Spitting Image song was, I've got a song that'll get on your nerves, get on your nerves, get on your nerves. I've got a song that'll get on your nerves, get on your nerves. And you used to do that all the way through.
And you're still singing it 30 years later.
35 years later, right? And I'm going to sing it for the next 8 hours now. Good answers. Very good answers. Question 5, Paul, to go first, I think.
We'll go with the scooter.
The yellow scooter thing. What's the oldest thing you own?
The oldest thing I own? Oh, man, that's a good question. I still have some... So it's funny. It's Easter season right now when we're recording this. And the only Easter decorations that we have are from when I made them in first grade. So in first grade, we had our teacher and her husband was a woodworker. So he would bring in all these different wood things and then we would paint them. And so we have a bunny, we have an egg, we have a kite. So just top of mind, that's probably one of the oldest things that I own that I know that I own. There's probably things that are in storage or boxes somewhere.
Are they still kind of serviceable, these wood carvings?
They are still very serviceable. I'm 35 now and there are only Easter decorations.
No. Yeah.
So that's at least the oldest thing that I can think of that I own, that I know that I own.
And you need to obviously send us a picture of those and we'll put them in the show notes.
I will. They're still hanging up and our daughter says every day, Easter's over, we should really take these down. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but she's all about following the rules. So Easter's over, so they should be down. I'll go take a picture.
Yeah, we like her, yeah. And you get the same question, which is the scooter, oldest thing that you own.
I think I win because the oldest thing I own is the fossil. It's about this big around, and it is a perfect snail. And I discovered it when I was about 9 years old. I grew up in Collingwood, Ontario, which is on the base of Georgian Bay, which is part of the Great Lakes. And just west of us was a shale beach called Craigleith. And we called it the fossil beach because if you just kicked a stone, it would break apart and there would be, trilobites. And I found this snail and it just the lid came off like the lid of a little jewel box, and this perfect stone snail So I don't know how many million years old it is, but it's plenty.
That wins. That surely wins.
That wins. I didn't even think about things that are older than me that I own. I was thinking things that I've owned for the longest time. So well done, Anne.
Oh, I bow to your acknowledgements. Thank you.
That wins. I think it's the first time snails and fossils have ever cropped up on the show. So
yeah, I guess.
that's a double whammy. It's a double whammy. Fantastic. That's it. So, listener, who won? I don't know. Who gave you the biggest insight, thought, idea, or suggestion, or something that you now know that before that you didn't? And it's not necessarily knowledge. It could be a book you're going to go read. It could be somebody you need to ring up. It could be anything like that. So, who won? If you think Paul gave you the biggest insight, send an email to paul@funkythinkers.com. And if you think Anne gave you the biggest insight, send an email to anne@funkythinkers.com and you'll just get an acknowledgement. No stupid list building, anything stupid like that. And Paul and Anne, thank you so much for being on the show. Paul, how can we contact you and find out more about you?
Yeah, so if you're listening, you should probably listen to a podcast. So that'd probably be the easiest way. I run a podcast called Business Owners Freedom Formula. So if you're a business owner and you want to listen to podcasts, that's it. Or just go to my website, paulmaskill.com.
Fantastic. Anne, how can we contact you?
You can contact me through my website, which is anti.ca. That's ANTIE.ca.
Fantastic. Anne and Paul, thank you so much for being on the show, and we'll see one of you in the next round.
It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Thank you. Hi, thanks so much for making it to the end of this episode. If you enjoyed it, please share it with your friends. I have a few people you might want to share it with. Your partner, your parents, your grandma and granddad, your neighbours, your hairdresser, your tea lady, your gym instructor, your swimming coach, postman, the bin man, your cat, your dog, Father Christmas, Mr. Trump, Mr. Putin, Cristiano Ronaldo.